We're strange, deranged, you'll pay for our sex change. We're strange, deranged, you'll pay for our sex change. Trans rights are human rights, we are coming for your types. Trans rights are human rights, we are coming for your types. Trans rights are human rights, we are coming for your types.
Oh, how risky. Welcome to episode 161 of the New York Times Global Vision podcast. I'm your host, Shlomo Davidstein. Today I'm joined by Caroline Paré, founder of the organization Transparents in Paris. Now, Caroline, could you describe to the listeners how your group originated and what its goals are?
First off, you silly Americans, you say Caroline, but in France we say Caroline with a lean, like Little Wayne be drinking. You have surely crossed the line, you are practically dead-naming me.
Oh my god, I'm so sorry. Please forgive my microaggression.
That is okay, I'm used to these things existing on a macro scale, from the microaggressions I encounter to my micro-penis. Anyway, to answer your question, I began Transparents in Paris 6 years and 6 months ago, after my son. Well, actually, he was my daughter at the time, but he said to me, Daddy, why are you wearing stilettos and a wig? And why did you cut off your testicles and store them in a pickle jar in the refrigerator? I was heartbroken, for I had tried to raise my child to be gender non-conforming, and yet he was questioning me and dead-naming me by calling me daddy. After these difficulties, I knew that the Transparents of Paris must come together in unity to ensure that this type of thing do not happen anymore.
Oh, how horrible. Children can just be so cruel. I just hate kids so much.
Oh no, at TTPP we believe quite the opposite. We love children, very much in fact. It is not their fault. They do not know any better, being brought up in this heterocentric world, so they must be educated. That is where our message for transparency comes into play. Other LGBT activist groups, they claim to represent adults, yet they conceal their inner workings. We preach total transparency in what we seek to achieve, to convert all children to the transgender ideology, so that all trans parents can have trans children. For transitioning is like the smoking of a cigarette. You must start them young. I myself knew I was a woman from the time I was 4 years old, right after my father, Pierre, molested me.
Oh wow, that's really a lot to unpack. But so interesting. It's safe to say that you're truly fighting the good fight against the cis heteronormative power structure.
Oh oui, that is the case. Some people do not realize, now that we can grow babies in test tubes, we have no need for cisgendered people anymore.
Excellent point. The future really is bright. There are definitely still a lot of ignorant transphobes left out there, as we can see by some of the comments we've received on our podcasts. We've heard complaints that transgenderism is new and unnatural, and therefore morally wrong. Can you tell us allies how we should respond to these ludicrous, bad faith arguments?
Well, our retort is that gender dysmorphia dates back at least to the times of ancient Rome, where the Emperor Caligula would dress as Aurora, the goddess of dawn, and fornicate with his three sisters. Finally, 2,000 years later, we have accumulated the social clout to bring about the dawn of the trans tyranny.
Oh wow, you're so right. I just can't wait to see what the future holds for us LGBT folks. People's minds are finally starting to change about these issues. There's truly something in the water. Figuratively speaking, of course. Now, Caroline, could you explain how you're working to achieve this new paradigm of gender and family dynamics?
Yes, we have partnered with DAGO, the Dallas Academy of Grooming Online, a virtual school designed to teach adults how to penetrate the minds of children digitally. We have also started an outreach program allowing trans parents to reach out to underprivileged children to give them a chance at a new life and a new gender. Finally, we have developed a line of fully transparent clothing to raise money and spread awareness of our organization. It brings so much joy to me to walk around in my fully transparent dress and see little children staring at me. It makes me feel like I'm really making a difference.
Transparent clothing for trans parents. That's so clever. I never could have thought of that.
Oh, indeed. We have also designed a flag to signify our cause. As there are already many variations of rainbow flag, we opted instead for a flag that is totally white. As white is the combination of all colors, thus it represents the unity and diversity of the Transparents of Paris.
Wow, how exciting. doing this amazing and important work of enlightening children, and pushing them down the path of transgenderism, it must be so fulfilling for you.
Yes, truly, nothing in the world brings more joy to me than seeing the estrogen shrunken penis of a little transgender girl, or the testosterone enlarged clitoris of an adorable transgender boy.
Okay, final question. Some of your critics have argued that the actions you call for violate parental rights and U.S. sex crime laws. How do you recommend American trans parents deal with these thorny legal issues caused by a corrupt judicial system?
Well, I would tell our groomers to keep doing what they are doing, and if they get caught by the police, they should flee to Paris, where they can live free, like Roman and Polanski.
Just incredible. Well, that wraps up this episode of the New York Times Global Vision podcast, sponsored by Disney's Faggots on Ice. And remember, folks, stay woke, or else. Please remember to donate your hard-earned money to the New York Times journalist staff. Not doing so would be anti-journalistic and therefore anti-Semitic. And in light of the recent tragedies in Israel, that is not okay. Hamas, those dirty animals, they're cutting the heads off of little Jewish babies. Oi, the humanity! There is nothing funny about the decapitation of Jewish babies. I repeat, there is nothing funny about the decapitation of Jewish babies. Remember, you can stand with Israel by donating to the New York Times. Today's episode of the Global Vision podcast was produced by Clifton Fadiman and Bryce Jenner. The executive assistant was Harvey Oz, and the assistant to the executive assistant was Charles Maryland Manson. It was edited by Doris Leslie, engineered by Michael Fairfax and the Reverend Charles Very, and contained original music by Jeffrey Blackman. The lobbyist was Jeff Bingaman. Protest audio was provided by Spook Magukli, and penis inspections were performed by Philip Chamberlain and the Filipino Gay Men's Chamber Orchestra. This is Shlomo Davidstein, and that's it for the Global Vision podcast. We'll see you next time.